So we're on the East Coast this year, right? Which means we're in close proximity to Washington, D.C., well, I guess Washington, D.C., Baltimore, and basically the entire heart of the federal sector, right? So Department of Defense and federal, which is where, the SEI kind of originated. And of course now we've branched out into everywhere, right? So software architecture is relevant to everybody. Not just Department of Defense contracts. And so one of the huge advantages, I think, to being in Baltimore is that there's an opportunity for what would you call it, a cross pollination, I guess. So synthesis of ideas coming from these different domains. So it's possible that So it's possible that guys coming from defense contracting world or from DoD types of projects can learn something from startups, and startups meanwhile can also be learning something about the rigors or the methods that are used on these large federal contracts, right? So everybody has the same problems, just the way that people approach them are differently, and when you remix and get people together from different backgrounds, there's always a huge learning opportunity. So another advantage being on the East Coast this year, I think, is hopefully a much larger federal presence and a continued, commercial presence like we've had in years past from the startups and the largely successful software companies.
Great.
Yeah, one of the nice things I've liked from years past in Saturn is the mixing of those different cultures, the more mature engineering organizations with the more startup-y or at least smaller scale engineering organizations like you're just chatting about, Michael. And it would be great to be watching one of these talks where you've got, say, someone dealing with the kind of scale or the kind of risk that somebody creating a .com website just doesn't have to deal with every day. And it's not literally that the audience had their jaws dropped, going, oh my goodness, that would be really hard if I was making, for example, embedded medical devices, or if I had some brake controller in a car, or if I was trying to coordinate military equipment, and the things that could go wrong there are really very scary if you get them wrong. And one of the things that we forget when we're doing, like, bang out this website with this great framework that makes all this stuff really fast, one of the things we forget is that there really are frontiers to our knowledge. There are limits to what we know how to do, okay? And just because you can build a bridge across this river doesn't mean there isn't a river that's so big that it's going to push our ability to construct anything that's going to satisfy it, okay? And that's what's really great about seeing these mature organizations that are pushing the boundaries of what can be done in terms of, if you would devote all of your attention and all of your best techniques to it, what can be done. And then you've got another group of guys who are saying, hey, if you try those really big processes and those really big risk reduction techniques and you apply them to small scale stuff, that maybe is not right. And you get those people trying to say, how can we take those basic ideas and whittle them down and get them to be lightweight so that you can apply them when you're building a website. So you, for example, if you have something relatively simple, you still don't fail spectacularly, because nobody wants that either, okay? So trying to find that balance and trying to figure out the right techniques and right sizing things for different kinds of projects, I always find that a really fun thing, because people come in with a lot of prejudices of, like, oh, you should do it in this heavyweight way, or you should do it in the lightweight way. And it forces them to confront other people's problems and figure out, oh, I see why you're doing things the way that you're doing it. It's not just inertia about that's the way we've always done it. It's actually, there are real reasons. There's drivers from the domain that force you into those kinds of activities.